Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to Duplex Built to Rent. My name is Juan Cristales, and we are building ground up duplexes in Texas. We're going to be doing a couple of updates on some of the properties that we have going on right now. And really, the most exciting part is that we're almost finished with one of them. And I'm going through with a little bit of a fine tooth comb to kind of make sure that everything is done and things don't get, slipped by the cracks. Mostly because this property is going to get refinanced, right? So when you go to sell a property, and a home inspector usually comes in, right? And they'll tell you, hey, all this stuff needs to be done, whatever, right? I'm not a real big fan of home inspections because I think a lot of inspectors think that they're builders or, I don't know, man. I just have a hard time with some inspectors who think that they know more than the city inspector who's been doing construction for 40 years, right? And I get it. They have a job to do. They have to do good. They have to do right by the buyer, right? But anyways, in this scenario, we're not selling it to anybody. We're just going to put tenants in place. So the challenge now comes into like, well, who's going to inspect the property in between? We do get something called the certificate of occupancy. That certificate of occupancy is the final inspection that is done by the city. They flush all the toilets and make sure all the stove turns on. They make sure the microwave works. They do all this stuff to make sure that everything works in the property. And, at that point, that's it. It's done, right? So that's the final inspection, but it's not a thorough 4 hour home inspection as you would normally get. So you can hire someone to do that for you just to make sure things are done correctly and just save yourself the time. Or as you go through the property, just check on stuff yourself. So let me show you here real quick. I'm going to skip over to that property. So that's this one here. I decided to do these shutters here mostly because I wanted to help my appraisal. I want my appraisal to just look fantastic. And, the more we can get on the appraisal on the refinance, the better it is going to be for us. What we do is we try to, we, no, we don't try, we get a DSCR loan, okay? Debt service coverage ratio. And basically what that means is that the rents have to cover the PITI of the new mortgage, okay? It has to be greater than, okay? The PITI. Okay, it's really that simple. And the factor is there's different lenders. They'll do it'll be a 1.1 factor. It can be a 1.25 factor. So basically, what that means is that the rents have to cover the PITI by a factor of 1.25. So, say for example, the rent is $1,000. Just as an example, that means I'm sorry, the mortgage is $1,000. Let's say that the mortgage is $1,000. That's the PITI. That means the rents have to cover it by a factor of 1.25 or have to be $1,250 or more for it to qualify. That's really it's that simple. Now, uh, it's looking good, man. I do this stuff so that I can get a good appraisal on the property itself. On the inside, man, we have the electricians kind of put in the final fixtures. We're getting all of this stuff done. The flooring is finished up. We have the floors covered because we got the floors done before the paint, but that's cool. We're just trying to, move forward. And then I take some of these pictures because I want to remind myself a couple of things here. So, we need mirrors. I need to order the mirrors. And then we are missing light bulbs. So I got to get a hold of the electrician and say, hey, man, I need you to pick up the light bulbs and get that stuff taken care of. No big deal. I'm sure he's coming back out anyways. We got a couple of things here that you can see that are still missing. Actually, there was a guy there yesterday when I went by. He's putting in the doorknobs and all the other stuff that we need for this property. Picking up the paper. You see all the paper here in the background. We got the appliances coming in on Tuesday. So that is looking good. And we are missing a bunch of these little candelabra is what they're called, these little light bulb things here. We're missing a bunch of these little light bulbs here for this. So it looks like it's 246 per. And this is a standard Home Depot thing, man. It's nothing too crazy. We get these ones on Amazon. There's a good price for those. So, and then obviously we need another mirror here. Again, it's an Amazon thing that I do for it. You don't have to go super crazy with it. If you're spending like $300-400 on mirrors, that's just way too much, man. It's just a piece of glass that's reflective. I mean, I don't understand why people go crazy. Another thing that I've kind of sort of forgotten along the way is that we do like a little decorative something on the inside of this thing, and I totally forgot. You can do some penny tile, something that's like $3, $4, $5. It's just maybe two pieces because maybe just one piece that goes in there. But I got to get that taken care of, right? I got to select it. Otherwise, the guys are not going to put it in. And then if you notice here, The reason why, okay, so we have all of the, you see how all of this all the grout is put in, but for some reason right here on the edges, it's not. And here's why. I'm gonna tell you why. The edges shift a little bit more, and for some reason it's a little bit more challenging to like squeeze the grout in there and get it to stick and stay. Okay, so instead of that, I mean, you see some grout that's already in there, but instead of that, what we use is a caulking type of thing. I'm going to zoom in here, see if you guys can see it, but you should be able to see it. You see how there's little gaps there? But the reason for it is because it doesn't usually work very well and it always falls off. And what we're trying to prevent is water from going back there. Even though the whole back area already has that membrane, that other dark colored membrane that I was showing you guys. They make some red stuff. It's like painted on. It's like a hard rubber. It hardens once it's dry, and it becomes like a plastic, protection, uh, impermeable thing. But anyways, we still want to put something on there. So we got to get that taken care of. I'll talk to the tile guy whenever he goes back out there to do his last piece of tile. The plumber here, one of his responsibilities also is to paint the things so that they're paint them brown so that they're not, just unsightly, right? So it blends into the ground. We're missing numbers. So that's another little task, right? We got to have the letter A here and then the property address. We got to get that stuff over here as well. We're missing more light bulbs. Missing more light bulbs, missing a mirror. But man, this thing is looking good. I'm pretty excited about it. See, missing that. See, I got a little bit closer picture because these are all the bathrooms are missing this exact same thing. So what we do is the caulking that we use for these little areas right here is going to be a rubber caulking type deal. That rubber caulking is going to be very easy to just kind of jam in there, and it creates a watertight seal, and it doesn't come off, right? That's really what we're trying to accomplish because the grout really does come off sometimes, and it's kind of annoying, and people call, complain about it. So in order to prevent that, we're just going to go ahead and put some rubber waterproof type stuff in there. All right, so that's all the updates for the 401 MLK property. We need some mirrors. We got to get some light bulbs. We got to get some numbers. We got to get the appliances that have already been ordered. They're going to be here on Tuesday. Hopefully, we can go ahead and call for some of the inspections. Now, at this point, guys, this is the point where the MEPs, the mechanical, the electrical, and the plumbers are calling in their final inspections. Remember, they cannot call for their final inspections. For example, the mechanical. Let's go back to a picture of the kitchen real quick so that I can explain to you what I mean. So basically, in the kitchen, we have no appliances, right? In this little section right here, we have the microwave that's going to be going. Now, I didn't open it in there, but as you can see underneath here a little bit, let's see if I can zoom in just a tad so you guys can see it. You see the vent for the microwave is right there. So that vent needs to be connected. And if you open up this cabinet right here, there's a vent that shoots up out of the, into the attic and out of the house. And so the air conditioning guy cannot pass his inspection unless the microwave is already installed in place and that vent is connected. Okay, so he's basically waiting on me, unfortunately, but that's one thing. Okay, next is going to be the electrician. The electrician can't pass his final inspection until the stove is connected with the correct, heavy duty wiring that needs to be connected to it, has to be in place. All right, the burners, the stove has to work. So the electrician cannot finish his portion until he has the stove in place. All right. So those two big things are dependent on us, the owners, to ensure that they're there so that these guys can pass their final inspection. The plumber, I mean, the refrigerator and stuff like that, it's not mandatory for, selling properties or rental properties. So that's not really a mandatory type deal. But if you have it in there, obviously the water line has to be connected. Really for the plumber, the biggest things are going to be the toilets. Obviously they need to be in place. The water heaters need to have full water. They're going to test to make sure that there's hot water in the house, so on and so forth. And that there's enough pressure so that someone isn't like, taking shower in one shower and somebody else taking a shower in another shower, and then you lose pressure in the system. So that's what those things are going to be for. But that's really it, guys. Now we're at the very, very tail end of this thing. We have to start getting someone out there to start cleaning this whole thing up. It's very, very dusty. This is going to be probably like a 6, 7, or 8 hour cleaning job for somebody, because you do have to go through. And one of the other things that I kind of task the cleaning lady is to make sure that she takes pictures of things that she thinks don't look right, so that she sends them to me and I can go ahead and get those things taken care of, or have the contractors out there to fix it. Okay, so nothing too crazy. We just want more sets of eyes on all of the projects that we have going on, and then that way it makes it easy. All right. On the other side, let's go over here to the 106 Runnels property. We have all the sheetrock delivered on this. This is very, very cool, because now we're going to be hanging sheetrock tomorrow, which is going to be Monday. And all this stuff is going to be put in. The firewall inspection was a pass, so that's awesome. And then we now, the insulation inspection was also a pass. So now we're good to go ahead and start hanging up all this sheetrock. So that's going to take a couple few days, and then we're going to go through the, the hanging, the tape, float, texture portion of it, and then we'll get that one moving forward. This stuff here, basically, I wanted to show you guys, because this is the contractors. They do stuff like this, man. They will use this stuff as footing, because as you can see, when it rains, right? And this is one of the reasons we don't do the final grade earlier, is because every time it rains and there's no sod on here, we're not going to put sod on there. It's going to get absolutely destroyed. Okay. So there's no real reason for us to make this all nice and pretty, because at the end of the day, what happens is that, it's going to get destroyed by the contractors walking, stepping on it with their, dirty boots or whatever. And, machinery comes in. So basically when it rains, it just washes it away. So the contractors put sheetrock there, pieces to kind of just walk over it, just kind of get a better footing for whenever they bring in the stuff. So remember, we're not painting until after the final grade and the sod has been put in, because usually what happens, as you can see here, the backsplash, or the splashing of the water onto this orange yellow, or this orange dirt, bounces back onto the property, and that, my friends, messes up the whole thing. So here's some more sheetrock on the other side. It's getting stacked up, ready to go. We are moving forward with it. But lastly, this is it. Property's almost done. Getting excited about it. We already started the refinance process. It's actually looking good. We're going to get this thing done, and hopefully in another 3-4 weeks, we have another project that's turnkey. We have, hopefully, we'll see what the appraisal comes in at, but based off of what we borrowed, we should have more than 6 figures of equity in this particular one. And I know that's super exciting. If you want to learn how to do this stuff, guys, this is not that complicated. It does take a little bit of guidance and understanding of what it's like. But man, whenever I first started new construction, nobody wanted to help me. I had to learn a lot of this stuff on my own, with a lot of trial and error. So the purpose I've made the school community is to kind of help you guys understand it, learn it, mostly because, there's some little small tips and tricks that I think are important, that kind of helps speed up the learning process and not be so worried about making the wrong decision. All right, guys, that's all I got for you today. Thanks so much for watching. I'll talk to you soon.